Wan'Dale Robinson had arguably the greatest season in the history of the program at wide receiver. 104 catches, 7 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards through the air. Josh Ali didn't get a whole lot of national attention because of Robinson, but still he's a key loss. 41 catches, 3 touchdowns. And Isaiah Epps as well. Javon Baker comes in as a former 4-star at Alabama, Kevin. So wide receiver is going to be a position to watch in the spring to see who is going to vie for starting spots and key backup roles.
Yes, you're exactly right. You said, wide receiver was a place that Kentucky was, got hit hard. I said Robinson put his name in for the NFL draft, of course. So probably the last thing I saw, he was like a mid-second round pick. I mean, so you have to, coming off the season you have to just, you have to go for it, strike while the iron's hot, as they say. And then, as I said, Josh Ali used up his eligibility as a super senior. Isaiah Epps transferred to Tulsa. So, yes, as I said, Javon Baker is a guy, Kentucky hit the transfer portal pretty hard at the receiver position. Javon Baker was at Alabama, had I think it was 9 catches and limited playing time down there. And then the other player they brought in, another Robinson, is a Tavion Robinson from Virginia Tech. He's the guy they think can possibly come in and fill in and do what, something similar. They carve out a role similar to what Wan'Dale Robinson did this past year. So you have those 2 guys, I think, could be starters, possible starters from day one. As far as guys coming back, you've got Chauncey Magwood, you've got DeMarcus Harris, Cleavon Thomas. These are guys who have had some, they've played some and had some success, but they've never, maybe they're just waiting for that chance, to show what they can do and have that breakout season. And, maybe one of those guys could be that guy. But like I said, I think Baker and Robinson have a really good chance of being your two wide receivers coming in. Obviously we'll have more of an idea once spring football is over. And then the tight end position, you have Brendan Bates, who's back. He's going to be a big help there. Keaton Upshaw returning after an injury last year. So, we always talk about how Kentucky, needs to get the tight ends more in the offense because you go back to the days of C.J. Conrad where he would have, one game with 6 catches and 3 touchdowns, and then he goes 6 games without catching a pass. And that's something, if you look at the stats last year, those guys, the tight ends actually, had some pretty decent, numbers. So, Kentucky is pretty well set. It's pretty well set at that position as well. So, like I said, the wide receiver, if you have a question mark on it's probably the wide receiver. Like I said, I look for those 2 guys to come in and make a big splash immediately.
And I've got to think that Kentucky fans are pretty excited about you got Berrien Brown as a highly sought-after receiver, and then Dane Key in this 2022 recruiting class who's already on campus as a 4-star already in the program and working out.
Yes, I left those 2 out. Yeah, Dane Key was the highest-rated player in Kentucky this year, and then DeKale Crowdis, who's also on is another guy from the same school, Frederick Douglass here in Lexington, who's they become like quite the pipeline from players coming from Frederick Douglass to Kentucky. They've become quite the football power. And like I said, I would not be surprised to see either one of those guys getting some reps this season as well. Like I said, hopefully Kentucky will have, things are, not to get political, things seem to be getting back to normal as far as COVID. Kentucky hasn't had a spring game the last 2 years. Spring practices basically weren't open to anybody, like the media last year. So you just had to see videos after the fact to see what was going on. So, the hope is we can have more normal time this year. And, everybody have the spring game, have 40,000 people at Kroger Field, for a spring game this year. And then we'll see, after that, we'll see, what happens going forward.